My name is Moonpetrie and I am starting a new tag. A lot of tags ask the question, what writers inspire you or what books have inspired you to write? But this is going to break that down and be a lot more specific. So there are 10 questions. What books or authors inspire you with regard to question 1, plot? So I am a big Agatha Christie fan, and I've also read a bunch of James Patterson lately. I feel like they both pretty consistently kill it with the plot. That was an accidental pun about murder mysteries. So I recently, though, I have been pretty stunned by a few things. One was a P.D. James short story in Christmassy sounding book, something about mistletoe murder. One of the short stories in that just, I thought I knew what was happening. I was just left reeling. And my other favorite thing lately, in terms of that moment when you realize, right before the character realizes, that last twist, was by Joy Fielding, and it was called Someone Is Watching. I also really enjoyed the ending to An Unwanted Guest by Sherry LaPena. So those are all mystery or thriller though, so I will toss in one thing for non-mystery plot, would be Terry Brooks, who's always super compelling. Question 2, what books or authors inspire you with regard to character development? So I tend to think of this as, what characters do you carry with you? You know, remember them like they're old friends, or almost have that thought of like, I wonder what they're up to now. Oh yeah, they're not real. So Lucy Maud Montgomery, not just the Anne books, all 8 of them, but her other series and some standalone books as well. I feel like her characters had this vividness and uniqueness that I really latched on to and have read and reread those books so many times. Rick Riordan also, I was an adult reading Rick Riordan, which is a little different from when I first read Lucy Maud Montgomery. So my reaction isn't, you know, this is a bosom friend, but these are children in need of mothering. So I really love his characters. It would be impossible for me to choose. Almost impossible. Nico. And another group, actually, pair of characters that I have grown very attached to are Emily Bourne's Brittany and Charlie. I spent the whole time reading both books thinking, she has merch where you can get Team Brittany or Team Charlie on a t-shirt, and I'm thinking about it, and I could never choose. I keep going back and forth. So they're both really winning and really complex. Question 3, what books or writers inspire you with regard to voice? So this is one of my favorite things, and I love a voicey writer. Some of my favorites include P.G. Wodehouse, Douglas Adams, Lemony Snicket, Neil Gaiman of the Fortunately the Milk variety of Neil Gaiman, and M.T. Anderson, not Scary Feed M.T. Anderson, but the Pals in Peril series. It has this feel like a voiceover from the 1950s. I don't know, incredible. So I really love snarky and opinionated sort of voice. Question 4, which books or authors inspire you with regard to dialogue? This is a hard one. I always loved how realistic and believable Stephen King's dialogue was. I say was. I got super scared once home alone with my now college student when he was a baby, and I haven't read any Stephen King since. But as I recall, he was great at dialogue. I will say my ultimate favorite the best dialogue in all of literature. I can't say it inspires me personally because it is just too much to aspire to, but it is the dialogue, the witty repartee between Beatrice and Benedict in Much Ado About Nothing. Question 5, what books or authors inspire you with regard to setting? So Narnia is my first and deepest love, and so that setting is magical to me. I was 4 when my dad read me the Chronicles of Narnia, and have reread it and reread it and read it to my kids, and so that is always going to win. A couple years ago I read the Raven cycle by Maggie Stiefvater and was totally blown away on so many levels, but in particular I felt the setting. Francesca Leah Block's take on Los Angeles is divine and dreamy and magical and everything that I could ever have asked for when I was 14 when I first read Weetzie Bat and the rest of the Dangerous Angels series. And as a teenager, I also really, really loved Anne Rice with this like rich, heavy, you know, this New Orleans setting where you could feel the humidity. Is amazing. Question 6, what books or authors have inspired you with regard to fight scenes? I'm not great at picturing things in 3 dimensions, at you know, spatial understanding, and so it takes a really good writer to get a fight scene across for me in a way that is memorable. So my top picks for this category are John Flanagan, the author of the Ranger's Apprentice and Brother Band series, Rick Riordan, of course, and Owen Colfer. Question 7, what books or writers have inspired you? I don't know if you can hear the sad baby. Sad baby, sad baby, I love you. Question 7, what books or writers have inspired you with regard to romantic scenes? I thought and thought, and thought and thought, and do not have an answer because nothing actually inspires me to write romantic scenes. I feel super, super awkward doing it. I don't like it. I tend to keep romance to a minimum when I'm writing. So I left the question in for anybody else that wants to take a stab at it. Question 8, what books or writers inspire you with regard to emotion? So I read The Hate U Give at the beginning of the year, earlier in the year. And Angie Thomas just gutted me. It was, I listened to the audiobook, which was read by Bonnie Turpin, who is my favorite audiobook reader lately, and I just stand there and listening to the audiobook in the kitchen trying to make dinner or something, tears streaming down my face. It's just a spectacular book. I think it would affect anyone deeply, but especially for me as a mom. As a mom of a teenage boy, it was brutal. I'm going to include a nod to Louise Penny for this question. I don't know that her writing is the most emotionally intense writing overall, but she brings a great deal of emotional depth to cozy mystery, which is not really a category that tends to have a lot of deep emotion to it. I was really surprised and impressed, and I read 3 of her books back to back at the beginning of the year. No, maybe that was last year? No, that was this year. I don't know. Oh God, how many years ago is it now? So Stephanie Meyer, whatever you might want to say, the beginning of New Moon was really emotionally intense for me. Again, it was a while ago. I have not reread them in a long time. Question 9. What books or writers have inspired you with regard to pacing or tension? So So Jeffrey Deaver was the first person to come to mind for me. His thrillers are just pulse pounding and often pretty hefty for thrillers, and just super, super hard to put down. I'm going to mention Joy Fielding again here because, again, super, super hard to put her books down. Someone Is Watching was the one I mentioned before. I also read, I think it's called The Couple Next Door. Again, super hard to put down. And right now I'm reading Brightly Burning by Alexa Dunn. And I feel like the pacing, the maintaining the tension is something that she did spectacularly well in that book. And now she's writing thrillers, so those are going to be great. And question 10, what books or writers have inspired you with regard to theme? John Green was the first one that I thought of. I have many times while reading his books had to stop and think about big stuff, you know. There are many writers I have to stop and just savor a beautifully constructed sentence or something. But with him, it was stop and reconsider how I look at the world or how I treat people and things that just don't come up in your average book. I also read The True Meaning of Smack Day. Finally, I've been meaning to read it for years because Home is such a fantastic movie, and this is the book that was based on. It's by Adam Rex, and I was really impressed with it. Again, I listened to the audiobook, and again, it was read by Bonnie Turpin, and it had so much more going for it than the movie. So much more depth and really, really thought-provoking. As many great science fiction writers have done over the centuries, the out-of-this-world concept was used to make readers really think more about this world and the tendency humanity has of othering anyone that is different in any way. I'm also tossing Anne Lamott in as an answer to this question, more because of her non-fiction than because of her fiction. And there wasn't any other non-fiction on my list so far, so make of that what you will. Finally, it is time to tag people. I am casting a wide net because a school bus is going by. I'm casting a wide net because this tag is brand new, and I am hoping at least a few of these folks will give it a shot. So I'm tagging Michelle at MV Mackenzie, Bug at Tobuggy Devesha, at Grapefry, Sarah at It Got Weirder, and Sarah at I Got a Blank Page, Joey Paul, Joey Cron, Lindsay Pocket, Marcus, Matilda, and Ruth Rouse. If you want to do it and I didn't name you, please go right ahead and do it. If you want to just answer the questions in the comments or pick your favorite question to answer in the comments, please do that. And if you do this tag, please let me know. I would love to know all about it. I am on Goodreads. Oh yeah, well, there's my list. I am on Goodreads as Moon Petrie, and so if you want to know more about what I've been reading and what I thought of it, you can check me out there. Until next time, I am Moon Petrie. Happy reading.